Okay, guys, this is Dave's LFC Chats, and I've got an absolute legend with me today for a little chat about the Reds, the team we all love, the team you love, the team Nicky loves, the team I love, Jurgen Klopp's Reds. It's Nicola Cornish, super fan, if I want to call her that, Liverpool
Definitely
LFC.
not
that. You are. She's in the house. How are you, Nicky? All good?
Yeah, all good, all good. If I'm honest, looking forward to 2 weeks of no football now. For my bank balance and sleep, I could just do with having a few
I'll,
weeks of no football.
I'll tell you what, the amount of travels I've actually seen I'm living in Dublin here in Ireland, obviously, and I've seen games on Sky and stuff, and I think I've seen your face in the bloody crowd, you know that?
I
I know
know.
her face
Yeah,
from somewhere,
sometimes it does seem to be, sadly, yeah. Never at Anfield. I'm behind the cameras at Anfield, but yeah, at away games it seems to happen
Even the away
sometimes.
games is the ones I'm talking about. Never
Yeah,
mind Anfield. You're a season
yeah.
ticket holder anyway, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Wow.
In
You
the
lucky person.
lower main stand.
You lucky
Well,
person.
yeah. There's been a few years where it hasn't always felt like that, but I've had it for about, I don't know, 26, 27 years maybe.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, I love it though. I can honestly say, in all those years, there is very, very rarely a time where I wake up and think, "Can I be bothered to go to Anfield today?" That happens about every 3 or 4 years. It's all the social bit as well with it. I love all of that. So
Before and after.
good
The
fun.
before and
Yeah,
after
yeah,
the game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So we'll go back in time when you were a kid growing up. Liverpool was the team for you, probably when you were a teenager. Was it your mom? Was it your dad? Was it your granddad? Was it your grandmother? Was it just,
No,
watching telly, or what was it?
no, this is really bizarre. So when I was a child, I was really contrary. I always wanted to be different to everybody else. And when I think I was about 7 or 8, I remember sitting at home thinking, I really want to get into something that my mum, dad, and sister can't stand. What can I like that they all hate? I thought, right, they all hate football. I'm going to get into football. And then you think, I don't really know who to support. And at the time, I had cousins who were, brought up in Devon in the 1970s, where everybody supported either Liverpool or Man United. And they'd gone to uni in London, so they'd come and see us every few weeks at the weekends, really about an hour away.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of my cousins saying, I'm really into football now and I don't know who to support. And he said to me, you need to support Liverpool. And if you do, I'll take you to some games.
That was a
So that was
sweetener. That
me
was a sweetener thrown in. There
about
you
8.
go.
And I thought, right, I'm going to be a Liverpool fan. And do you know when I really remember this so vividly? In 1981, when I was 10, and we played, so we'd play Real Madrid in Paris in the 81 European Cup final. And I'd gone to Devon for the week with my mum, dad, and sister. And of course, that was when it was on a Wednesday night. And I remember saying to them, I'm not going out for dinner. I need to watch this game. And I made all of them sit on the bed with me in the hotel room, on a crackly old telly, watching Liverpool win the European Cup.
Wow.
And I just remember seeing those boys in red with holding this great big silver cup, thinking, "Oh, I love them so much already." And I've thought that a few times when I've been lucky enough to be in the ground to see us lift some European Cups. It's taken me back to that. And actually, when we went to Paris in 2022, obviously before the game, when we were all excited about everything, or when I was getting ready to go, I was thinking, "Oh my God, this is like my life's become full circle rather," because we're watching
Yeah.
Madrid in Paris. And that was it. And then they were as good as their word. So from about the age of 12, in the days where you could queue to go and stand on the away terraces, my mum would put me on the train, and they would wait for me in London on the platform, and they'd take me to go and queue on the away terraces at Arsenal and Spurs when I was sort of 12 or 13.
Wow.
And that's it.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, that is unbelievable. I mean, the game was different back then, of course. It's changed so much, even in the last 10 years. Well, probably since the Premier League in the early 90s, it's just a different game now, isn't it? It's all money,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I know the way of the world, the way it is when you were a kid in the 80s. When I was a kid in the 80s, it was a different football. It was a totally different. Okay, it was probably even a more dangerous place to go to games and stuff. There was problems. We know that, but it's just changed so much. But what I want to talk to you about as well is you go to a lot of away games, especially European away games, Europa League, Champions League. What has been your favorite destination, let's say, away?
I would say, um, There's probably a few answers because there'll be different things you'll like about
Yeah,
places. So I loved it when we played at Borussia Dortmund in 2016 in the UEFA Cup. That was just brilliant. Loved. I think my favourite destination to go to as a football fan is Germany, without a doubt. I love the fans there. They're really welcoming. They're really
yeah.
interested. And of course, since we've been there with Klopp being our manager, they can't talk about him enough. And you just get treated so brilliantly by everybody. To be fair, last season we played Ajax in Amsterdam. That was an amazing trip as well. Absolutely loved that. Um, and I think actually, Germany and would be my favourite destination. But do you know what? In 2018, we had the best time in Kiev for 4 days. We had such a brilliant time, and I actually think had we won the game, it would have been my favourite ever away trip because it was just you kind of went there with no expectations at all, and the people were so friendly, and it was just such a great place, and
Well, it must sadden you to think you're looking at Kiev now.
Oh, absolutely. And we met so many lovely people. I know sometimes you'd be going in the metro thinking, I can't really work out where I'm going. And they could see you were confused and a few people stop and say to us, oh, you need help? Or anything. So, yeah. And it was such a beautiful city, yeah. And it's really, really sad. And that day we had in Shevchenko Park, which was really kind of felt like the real start of the whole
Yeah.
boss night thing, everything. That was just amazing. And the day actually in the Madrid fan park the year after was great. But I think Shevchenko was probably slightly even better just because it was just new and it was just, I had no expectations of anything about that trip at all. And it was just amazing.
No, and it is. I mean, imagine I haven't been to a European Cup final with Liverpool, but I've been there in spirit, as they say. But look, the main thing for me as well, I mean, we'll talk about Klopp because, I mean, he came in October 2015 and he's been just an absolute roller coaster. I was going to say a breath of fresh air. He's been that as well. He's more of a roller coaster. I mean, it's been crazy. You've seen managers growing up as a kid right up through. I've seen them as well. I mean, this guy is, for me, I said it before in loads of podcasts, he's the closest to me for Shankly DNA because of the fact, the way he gets the fan base, the way he gets Liverpool City itself, the Scousers, whatever, even the great outer, the fans, worldwide fans, the way he speaks, narrates, just everything about him,
Yeah,
is
I
just, he just
completely
gets it,
agree.
doesn't he? He just gets it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, of course, we never really knew the Shankly era,
Exactly.
but it's how I would expect it to be. And um, it's like you said, it's not for me. What I'll miss the most is he brings so much fun to every game. Has been, and we might go on and we might win more with a different manager. We might do whatever, but I don't think anything will ever be as so much fun. And actually, he made a really good point. He did a interview with ITV last week before the FA Cup game, and he said in there, "I hope people remember the one thing is that everything's better if we do it together." And I thought
Yeah.
that's so true. Just even a few months ago at the Carabao Cup final, just when it was almost like we knew the team needed us in extra time, and they were all singing "Lay" for 3 or 4 minutes. And there's something so good about that. Even at Old Trafford yesterday, when we got beaten after the game, we're kept in. We're just singing these songs, and to me, that's part of being a football fan. I'm not one that goes into a complete strop when we lose games or anything because I get it. You can't win every game, and actually,
Yeah.
if you knew you were going to win every game, what would be the point of going? But it's about winning together and losing together all the time, and I think he's really brought that to us and just brought so much fun. But he's kind of more than a manager, isn't he? He's just.
Yeah.
It's like he's our moral compass for us all.
Yeah.
It's like even like during COVID when he'd do these little interviews on LFC TV, and you'd watch those. I think everything's all right now. It's just, and it's that, and
there's like a father figure, a grandfather, comforting hug. I know the famous hug he gives, but he gives a sort of a hug. It's nearly like I was going to say a lyrical hug, but it's sort of an imaginary hug when he speaks, doesn't he? It's like a glowing hug,
Yeah, it's just everything about him, and it's funny actually. Yeah, since after the first few days after he was leaving, it's like I've just kind of put that into a box and thought, right, just put it to one side till the end of May because don't ruin the next few months. We just keep thinking, oh, he's going soon. But you know how you do on social media the other day, I just caught this one video, of when he left Dortmund and someone had played it to this really sad music, and I was like, oh my god, I can't think about that at the end of May.
Don't play the Titanic music. Don't go to the
No,
Titanic
no, no,
music.
no.
No.
But it just, do you know what? I think also to show how much he transcends football, loads of my friends are not football fans at all. And the day I actually was in a meeting when he did that announcement, I came out and like everyone was saying to me, your phone has just blown up. But it was even like my friends who've got no interest in football, were like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
And actually, funnily enough, so that was on the Friday, wasn't it? Then on the Saturday, I was going up to Liverpool for the weekend for the FA Cup game. And as soon as I got to the city on Saturday, you could just feel something. And I was in the pub and I was bumping into people I knew, and everyone just looking at each other going, are we okay? Let's just have a hug. And it was almost like
It's
you
like
kind
a
of went through this
bereavement. It's
mourning
like a
for a few
bereavement
months.
of a friend.
It really, really was. We've been through it
Yeah.
once and we're going to go through it all again in May. I know. But, do you know what? As I've got to grips with it, I'm also really pleased for him that he gets to go when he thinks he should go. I mean, I keep thinking, imagine he'd have left last season when we were having such a horrible season. I'd have hated that.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he deserves to go out when he wants to and when he feels it's the right time to go out. He really deserves that.
Well, the stars are aligning for him. I know, look, we've 10 league games left. I think we win the 10, we win the league, to be fair, but that's going to be hard. We still go back to United. We can say more at Old Trafford again because we still have to go back there in a few weeks. But the stars are aligning because just down the road out through this window, about 2 miles that way, is the Europa League final in Dublin. And that would be his last.
Do you have any spare bedrooms?
I was just, never mind spare tickets, spare bedrooms in Dublin. Are you joking me? But trying to get a ticket for that Dublin, and there is an issue over here at the moment. I heard UEFA giving out, and UEFA organised it with the FA, Irish FA anyway, that like the Aviva Stadium is quite small. It's 52,000 at best. It's a newish stadium, but it's a rugby stadium where a rugby team plays as well. Yeah. But we have a national stadium about 3 miles north from it called Croke Park, which has 83,000, and it's our Gaelic games. I don't know whether you know our Gaelic games and stuff like that, but it's our national stadium. And the thinking, I was saying, if Liverpool get to the final, there's no way you're gonna there's 500,000 Liverpool fans in Dublin. Are you joking me?
I know.
So what are they gonna do?
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be like a Willy Wonka ticket. It's gonna be the golden ticket of Willy Wonka to get a ticket into the Aviva.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully I'll be okay. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's hope you'll be. I might meet you for a beer if you do get there. But look, the big thing for Klopp, I think, is legacy. What would you think of his legacy? I mean, he's brought us so much. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how you replace him, to be fair. I know Xavi Alonso and all this chat, but you can't replace him, to be fair. Let's be real. You just can't. It'll be someone different. Do you even want to replace him is the question? I don't know.
That's it. You can't. He's such a massive personality. You can't replace him, and whoever follows him can't try and be like him because he's just a one-off. You look at Bob Paisley following Bill Shankly. You probably couldn't get 2 more different personalities. So, but for me, yeah. So his legacy for me. Well, I mean, the main thing is he won us the Premier League, and I just think is that if there is a football god, we should be winning it this year because he deserves to pick that trophy up in front of fans. I mean, we were phenomenal in the 2019-2020 season. And in my mind, I still think I saw us win the league because I went to pretty much every game. And there was lots of games, United at home in the January, Leicester away on Boxing Day, and they were the 2 nights I thought, I know we've won this league.
Yeah.
So you did still get that feeling, but it's just I just would, I'll give up the Europa League final, anything, just to get that that league
number 20,
league trophy.
Number 20 with the Manx, level with the Manx. Stop them moaning and shouting about it. Yeah, look, I want both trophies, but I mean it's going to be hard. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, if he doesn't win either of them, I mean, he'll still be the Jurgen Klopp we all love and we're all talking about now. It won't make it much of a difference. But I mean, it's just crazy following this team and the amount of wins and some of the records. Every record I think has been broken under the Klopp tenure. All the records, and all those great Liverpool 80s, 70s, 80s team, every bloody record he broke. For most wins, most away wins, most goals, most this, most that. I mean, unbelievable.
Well, and for me, the
fans still give out. What?
I know the two things, for me is the fact that he's won us the Premier League. I'm delighted for him that for him more than me that we won a Champions League as well after he'd lost a few finals. But also, I just think, and I, my gut feel is because this is what humans are like. When the going gets tough under another manager, which I'm sure it will at times, we'll probably forget this, and we need to be reminded of this: is that everything is better if we do it together. I think he's demonstrated that time and time and time again.
This means more.
Well, exactly. And do you know what I think is amazing? He has such a brilliant way of words with certain things he says, which, considering it is his native language, is incredible. And he'll often say, I'm not a native speaker, but the way
He's an intelligent
thinks
man,
about
though.
things.
He's very intelligent.
Really
So,
intelligent.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, I'd like him to be our next prime minister, but he wants a holiday.
Well, you certainly do need one.
Exactly. You're dead
you
right
should
there.
run for it. You run for it next time.
No, thank you, God. Yeah. So
who wants that job? Who wants that job? But I mean, look, where we are, we might win the league. I think we have a chance of winning the league. It's an outside chance. I still think City are the team to bleed and catch. We won't mention 115 charges. Forget about that. But I think what might help us in the run-in is the fact, okay, we got knocked out of the FA Cup. All our eyes are on Atalanta home and away, possibly getting to Dublin for the final. That parks itself, I think. But what's important is City play Arsenal. Have two tough games in Champions League, Bayern Munich and Madrid. I think they'll win the both of them. I think they'll meet the semis. Arsenal City. That'll help.
Yeah, I think so too, and that's brilliant for us.
Yeah.
I mean, when we got the Europa League draw on Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, I was gutted with our draw just because I know how tiny the ticket allocation is at Atalanta, even though it's a lovely place to go. So,
Bergamo.
Yeah, but pleased that we avoided West Ham. I can't bear English sides in Europe. But the Champions League draw, I was.
Imagine West Ham doing Liverpool.
They could do, yeah. But I was just so thrilled with the Champions League draw because, and yesterday, obviously it's disappointing to go out of the cup. But if I'm honest, I did have a concern that it was going to cost us a really good shot at the league if we stayed in the FA Cup. And hopefully we can use how the players felt yesterday to make sure the same thing doesn't happen again at Old Trafford in a few weeks' time. So I do think that and the Champions League draw, I think you're right, it's going to be tough, but it feels like we're going to get some players back, which is important. I mean, the guys who come in and played have been absolutely brilliant, but I think yesterday was a prime example. That extra time, their heads and their minds and their bodies, they had just gone. They were just. It was just one game too many. So I think that all really helped. I think we're just going to have to. We just need to throw everything at it for 10 games. So like you said, if we win all 10, no one's going to beat us.
No, I think because City play Arsenal. Remember,
yeah,
City
exactly.
play Arsenal. You're probably looking for a draw there, whatever, or maybe even the City win, which will knock Arsenal back. So, we'll be all eyes on that one. I think we have 2 home games coming up. Brighton at home, Sheffield United at home. We've a lot of home games. We've United away. We've Atalanta at home as well. We've a lot of games coming up at home. Got to get behind them. You to be there. You're at Anfield. What is the atmosphere? Now, I've been at Anfield in a while. What is the atmosphere? A lot of people giving out online about it. I have a lot of friends go to the game, season ticket holders. They say the same thing to me. It's hot and cold, they're saying. Sometimes it's unreal. Under the lights is probably better than during the day type of thing. So what's your take on it as being an Anfield?
I think it's absolutely great. I suppose I just think you can't have it both ways. You at City at home last week, that atmosphere was phenomenal. Yeah. I came out of that ground, I was buzzing. It was just it was buzzing. But if you want, you can't have that for the big game. You won't get that extra atmosphere if it's wild for every game. Yeah. I've been going for so many years and I've never known a good lunchtime kickoff atmosphere. It just doesn't really. It is what it is. And I think people get way too wound up about atmospheres and stuff because what I do know is in the big games and when the team need us, we really, really come to the fore. And we're just an emotional support base, a supporter base. It's like you look at the German games and it's great, but you just have this bang, 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 this drum for 90 minutes. There's no there's no peaks or troughs, is there? And I love the emotion of it. So as long as the players, where the atmosphere struggles is the early kickoffs, but also if the players come out and they're a bit lethargic, because we need something from the players, and then we'll just get right on there. I just get bored of this atmosphere talk. I think it's absolutely fine. If you want an emotional club and an emotional crowd, that's how it's going to be. I think
a question before you go. I want to ask you your favourite game at Anfield. I presume you were at the Barcelona, the 4-0. Origi, were you?
I was. So, yeah, that has got to be my favourite. Okay. I was also at the Newcastle 4-3 game in 1996 in the league.
Oh!
That was, what a game that was.
The slump down.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping slumping down. Yeah. I would also say the ghost goal game with Garcia in the 2005 semi-final. Just because, excuse me, I've never, ever heard an atmosphere as loud as that, ever, at Anfield. And I think it was because we just didn't expect to be in that position at all. Whereas the Barcelona game absolutely was my favourite. But it's really funny. I was thinking about that game the other day because the atmosphere wasn't big outside the ground at all. So I think a lot of us kind of went out of duty thinking we're not going to go through.
Just put in a good performance, that type of way.
Yeah.
Go out with a good performance nearly.
And then I think as soon as everyone got in the ground, it was like, right, give your heads a wobble. This is a Champions League semi-final. And then when the team came out flying like they didn't score quite quickly, that was it. I mean, it was just, and I'm very lucky where my season ticket is. I sit right down looking onto the corner where Trent took the corner, and I'm right level with the penalty area. And oh my God, it was amazing. And just the "You'll Never Walk Alone" in front of the Kop afterwards. And then just remember, as the players had gone off and George played Imagine by John Lennon, and everyone was just singing it, and it was just amazing. And then I'd already booked my flight to Madrid a few months before that, but then I spent the next 6 hours till 6 a.m. sorting out flights to get back, so that it didn't cost a fortune.
It's crazy, isn't it? They really have you. Ryanair, obviously, I use over here, but even to get over to the Brighton game last week, I think it was €400 return from Dublin. You could nearly jog across from Dublin. Crazy.
See, I'm pretty lucky because I can go to Heathrow, Luton, Stansted, Gatwick. So when you've got that many airports and much more flights, I'm quite lucky. So I went to Prague last week for the Sparta Prague game, and I think I paid £45, £50 return for my flight, maybe. So we are quite lucky with that. I mean, we booked our flights to Dublin months ago. People always say to me, "Oh, you shouldn't." Not my non-football friends say, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that," but you just don't want to be ripped off.
Yeah, you would have been ripped off, because even now they're presuming Liverpool are going to get to the final, aren't they? They're presuming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I only paid £40, I think, for my flight to Dublin. So I'd rather lose £40 than be ripped off.
It's about £40 for a pint of Guinness.
Yeah, I remember that. I haven't been to Dublin for quite a while, but I do remember how expensive they were.
Expensive. It's expensive, like London.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But look, as we say, look, there's a bit of a break now. What is it? 2-week break, 10-day break. The Reds will be back. Just get behind the team. You'll be there at Anfield, getting behind the team. 10 league games, possibility of 5 games in Europa League if we win, get to the final. Surely, get behind the bloody team. This means more. You never walk alone. Whatever you want to say about that. But just before we go, as a kid growing up, my favourite player would have been John Barnes. Back in the 80s, he was like, wow, he's just different. Who was your favourite player all time? Not in the current team.
I don't want to say all time, but when I was younger, Jan Molby. Loved him.
Big Jan.
Yeah, loved him. He's probably, he was definitely my favourite player of the 80s. Since then, I don't even think I've got any favourite players. It's I don't know, I kind of think I'm a bit, not old for that, because a lot of people have favourite players, but I, particularly at the moment, I just love them all.
Yeah. As a team collective you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm not, I wouldn't say I've got any favourite players. You'll have some, like I love watching, like this season, it's been great watching Endo, and I've loved Joe Gomez having I'm touching wood as I'm saying this, an injury-free season, because he really deserves it.
He deserves a goal. He might get the winner in the Europa League final. That'd be something else.
Who knows? And of course, I adore Virgil because who doesn't? Imagine how beautiful he's going to look holding that UEFA Cup if we win it.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful man.
You're calling the UEFA Cup. That's what the old Fairs Cup, UEFA Cup, it used to be years ago. But look, Nicky, good luck to you going forward. Let's hope. Let's only have you on the end of the season, and we have a number 20 Premier League championship in the back pocket, and maybe even a Europa League, because Klopp actually hasn't. That's the only trophy he hasn't won with Liverpool.
Yeah.
The old UEFA Cup, Europa League. So let's see what happens. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much.
Okay.